Hi everyone, I've decided to do this video about the Final Fantasy VII PC any percent run. It's going to be explaining how to drop one of the ethers in the run, where normally you take 5 ethers, but there is a method in which you can only pick up 4, which saves around about 18 seconds off of your run, but there is a few things that you need to do in order to cover for the reduction in gil. So the reason the ethers are so important here is because they provide the majority of our gil for the run for getting through Midgar. So reducing the amount of ethers that you pick up will save you time, but it does come with a few caveats that you need to be able to account for. There are a total of 5 ethers that you can possibly acquire in the run. 2 of them you get as mandatory. One is given to you when you start the game, which is right here. The second one you receive automatically is from Reno by defeating him. It's given to you at the end of the battle. The other 3 are in Sector 7, above the weapon shop, where you pick up the ore. The second is in Corneo's wine cellar, and the last one is next to Aerith's house, where the cover materia is found. Okay, so first we're going to cover the 3 ether route when you pick up all 3 ethers. After you've done the cutscene up in the bar, you'll get paid from Barrett, and at that point you'll have enough gil to do this shop, but you can't do it beforehand. So you go into the shop, talk to the guy, sell all of your items, and buy 21 grenades. And then we'll go and pick up the ether. Which is in this chest right here. And then you continue the run on as normal. You go and do guard skip. Okay, so when you reach Sector 7, when you're about to go up and fight Reno, there is the shop here where you have to buy the tranquilizers. So just go in, go down to buy, and you can buy 4 here. You won't have any problems with tranquilizers. The later route will get into more detail there, but we don't buy hypers, we buy tranquilizers. That was close. There we go. So yeah, you can buy 4 there and then carry on until you get to the final shop. And so the last shop relevant to this run is you pick up the final ether outside Aerith's house. It can either be before or after the cutscene. It doesn't really matter. Then after the cutscene, pop up into the shop, talk to this bloke, then go into sell item. Sell all of your non-essential items, which in this case will be your ethers, Phoenix Down, and the hyper. Do not sell your high potion or your potions or your tranquilizers. You need them all later. Then going to buy and buy enough grenades so that you can purchase the mithril rod and the batteries, which is 670 gil total, which, depending on how many potions you pick up, that does for when you sell for the first shop. It's usually roughly around 49 grenades. So go 48 to be safe. Yeah, 49 grenades. You should have a total of 55. If you got preemptive apps, it'll be about 52 if you don't get preemptive apps. That's still more than enough to get through the entire run. Just using nothing but grenades. You don't really need to worry about using limits. For this route, it does give you more grenades than what you'll ever need. Okay, so moving on to the 4 ether route. At the start, you'll need to take more care with managing how many items you pick up, particularly potions at the start of the game. You'll need to have 6 potions total to sell at Sector 7, so 4 of them you'll get automatically. 3 you start off with in your inventory, and 1 of them you have to pick up along the way in order to get to Jesse. You need 2 more. The best way to do it is to pick up 1 off of this guard, and then the second one you'll either pick up from the guards in this fight. They have around about, I think it's a 37% chance of dropping for this fight. If they don't drop, then you can pick up 1 more. Okay, double crit for the recording. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, here we didn't pick up the potion. There is one more place where you can get it. It's as you're leaving the reactor, just before Clyde gets ambushed by soldiers when he's on his own. Alternatively, you can just pick up 2 grenades off of the dead guard as well. If we go back to him, talk to him again, you can pick up the second potion that way if you're more inclined. However, make your decision straight away. It's pretty inefficient to step count and time if you go back after the battle, so either pick up 2 potions straight away and then go on to do the fight. It's okay if you have 7 potions, you just have 25 gil for no reason, and then carry on to the next step. For the Sector 7 shop, all you need to do is, once you get in there, just sell all of your potions rather than selling everything. It's slightly more efficient to just sell your potions. You'll have enough gil to get you all the way to the last shop in Midgar. All you have to do is sell all your potions and buy 21 grenades, and don't worry about picking up the ether upstairs. This is the longest one that it takes to pick up, so you can just skip that one. It takes about 15 seconds. It's the longest out of the 3 of them. For purchasing the tranquilizers, instead of purchasing 4 here, you just buy 3 to save a little bit extra gil to buy yourself 1 more grenade. So rather than buy 4 like what you normally would, just buy 3 tranquilizers here. Okay, so for the third shop, I'm using a different save file here, so the gil totals won't be accurate, but you just need to follow these instructions. As long as you have followed everything before this, you'll be fine. Just talk to this guy. After you've sold all of your non-essential items, go down and buy 46 grenades. So I've got too much gil here than what you normally would, but the best way to do it is to just hold right until you get to 6 and then hold up, and then you should stop at 46. So buy 46 grenades and then you can continue on. So in this run you don't have enough gil to purchase the Mythal Rod. It just costs too much. It's 370 gil, and at this point gil is too tight. That's 5 grenades worth of gil in this run. So you need to be prepared for the random chance that Aerith has 27 strength. At this point, this is directly after the Rufus fight, just before Motorball. Aerith doesn't level up anymore after this point. She does gain experience from Motorball, but it's not enough to level up when she's not in the fight. But she will level up if she is in the fight. So if Aerith's strength status is at 27 at this point, then you need to put her in the Motorball fight and level her up, because there's no way to raise her strength artificially. The only way to do that before was Mythal Rod. That is no longer available, obviously, so you need to raise her level by putting her in the Motorball fight. You do that by selecting your party just before the motorbike minigame. So the best way to do that is, it depends on whether or not you do elevator skip in your run, because you need to set up a save before Motorball to set up one of the warps. If you do elevator skip, the best way to do this is to do the elevator skip, carry on, go to your save to set up your save, set up your save, and then go to status and check Aerith's status here. Now here she's 30, so we wouldn't need to put her on into the motorball fight, but if she was 27, then you would have to put her in the party for the motorball fight, because once again, she will only get enough experience to level up if she's in the fight itself. When characters are not in fights, they only earn 50% of the experience passively, and that will push her up. It could be anywhere between 28 and 33, so you do need to check her status again directly before the Materia Keeper fight and adjust accordingly. If you're not up to elevator skip yet, you can just do the menu. You can just check error status on this screen instead. It is slightly less efficient because you'll have to just open the menu one extra time, but that's fine. Once you get to the point of elevator skip, you can do it on the save point out here. One thing to note about this item route is that you will either have 50 or 51 grenades at the final shop before you go into Shinra Mansion, depending on whether or not you got preemptive apps. If you have preemptive apps, you'll most likely have 51 grenades, unless you're able to use a limit on Reno, in which case you'll have 52. If you use grenades for every fight, the most you'll use up is 50. And you will want to have one grenade spare for your random encounter to trigger the first warp, and then you can use limits for the remainder of that fight. So if you don't get preemptive apps, the best method to do is to use one limit at some point in the run. It's really up to you where you do it. Some fights are better than others. You can try and kill Dark Nation with Cloud's Braver at the start of the Rufus fight. That is one method, but it's quite risky to do. You can try and end the fight with the Hojo boss, that monstrosity of a thing, with Cloud or Red's Limit Break, or even Big Shot if Barrett's in your party. You could use a limit on the guards. There's a lot of places where you can use one limit. So if you don't get preemptive apps, that is something you should take into mind. Or alternatively, you can just take a boss fight a bit using a slower method. For example, the 5-bolt method on Motorball will save you one grenade because it only uses 10 grenades instead of 11. But yeah, that's just one thing to note. If you don't get preemptive apps, you will be short by one grenade, and you'll need to save that at some point. Okay, well that about does it for explaining the way to drop one ether. I thought of a while to try and figure out how to end this video, but I couldn't come up with anything, so the end.